Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our reaction and review for American Horror Story Delicate Episode 5. Did Siobhan just kill somebody? Because it certainly feels that way right now.
Yeah, did Anna end up making a deal here? Like, what would you do for an Oscar? She said anything. So here we are. Do you think that Siobhan did this to the competition?
Yes? Question mark?
What do you guys think? Leave
yeah,
it in the comments.
yeah, we
I
want to hear from
mean,
you.
I really think that Siobhan is heavily involved in this because otherwise, like, why would she do this? We do have a situation here where Siobhan has two clients that are both competing for the same award. So,
Yeah.
why would she offer sort of this? Would you do anything? Do you want an Oscar as much as you want your baby? Yes, I'm willing to do anything as much. Why is Anna getting this deal and the other client isn't? And now the other client is dead? Because Anna has this baby. This baby is the key to everything.
It is, I think, the capital that is required for whatever sort of trade here Siobhan actually needs. Like,
Yep.
Siobhan herself made this big deal in this episode about how she can separate business from friendship. And I think here she can separate her business, being in the world of PR, from her business, which is whatever dark and twisted stuff is brewing here behind the scenes.
We got a lot of information in this episode, which is good because this is the end of part 1 of this season. There is no new episode next week. We do not know when the rest of the episodes are coming up, probably early 2024. That's
Yeah.
the hope. They've said nothing at the time of this recording. Maybe they're posting something on Twitter right now, but as of this recording, this is the end of part 1. Part 2 is coming. It will be a continuation of what we're watching now. So, getting in just enough answers to tide us over, but also some more questions. I mean, there's a lot to talk about.
There is a ton to talk about, which really just, it should make us all go up to the nearest tower, grab a megaphone, yell, pay your actors. I was about to say pay your writers because we were stuck in that mode for
Right?
such a long period of time. Pay your actors so that you guys can actually go back, finish the end of this season.
Absolutely. Who wants a shower goat?
Not me.
What a weird scene that was.
There's a lot of weirdness on this show, and somehow Shower Goat may be one of these standouts. I don't know how it is it's achieved that. I will say this, for all the talk about spiders and all the promo material for this season, I'm kind of glad it's more about goats on the actual show because goats do not scare me anywhere near as much as spiders.
Yes, lots of goats, lots of owls going on as well, but yeah, not much in the way of spiders.
Thank you, American Horror Story.
Hey, it's not over. Don't be thanking them yet. There
Okay.
is still more to come.
All right. Well, before we do move any further here, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know what? We're still going to be here talking all about American Horror Story Delicate when it comes back. But beyond just that, American Horror Stories, the spinoff, is going to start up next week. And we are going to have coverage of this Halloween / Huluween obvious marketing opportunity thing that they've got going on. We don't want you to miss that either.
Yeah, the trailer for American Horror Stories dropped like, what was it, yesterday, a day before, a couple days ago. It looks like a creep show. Like, I think it's gonna be really good this season. I know it's hit and miss, guys, but when it really hits, it hits.
Yeah, and then we just try to pretend on the occasions where it misses and act like it never really happened. But you know what? That's a part of the American Horror Story franchise experience.
It absolutely is.
All right, now heads will roll as we enter this next part of this. Listen, this is a
that was dark.
macabre show. We all just have to accept it. So we have the headless Golden Globe winner from the end of this episode.
Yeah, Babette is gone.
Now, I mean, you already set it up here. It seems like Siobhan had something to do with Babette being taken out of the picture.
Yeah, okay, so here's sort of like the big picture of what it feels like they're putting together. We had this backstory with, Miss Preach and her baby back in the 80s, where it seems like she made some sort of a deal to give up her baby for riches, for fashion riches,
Yeah.
which she got. She sold some sort of a patent to Marc Jacobs. She's got money, but she's definitely regretting her choices.
Yeah.
And now, seemingly, one of the people who was sort of part of we'll call them witches for now,
Yeah.
because it's hard to know really what's going on. The women dressed in black that are making these deals over these babies. Seems like one of those people was Adeline, and that she ended up falling in love with Dex and was moving away from that whole lifestyle. And now they're targeting Anna and his family and his mom, and like everybody in the family is getting targeted, to where I just got to be like, friend or foe, Sonia? I think friend. I think she is the only person on the show that is friend. I think she is in disguise. I think she is Adeline. She is in disguise. It's her. And I think she is friend.
I think there's a pretty good case for it, judging from the fact, and we talked about this last week, it's the same actress. They made a
Yeah.
big deal out of how these two magically do look alike. I think it's a situation where Anna needs somebody, and we've talked a little bit about this already. These people can't all collectively be out to get her, because
I trust Sonia after this episode. I know I shouldn't, but I do. What about you?
Okay, here's the thing. This is gonna make people really crazy. I'm gonna put on my hard hat, my suit of armor for the comments here, because I think, I kind of trust Sonya, but Dex. Okay, here's the thing. Is Dex a bad husband? Sure, we have plenty of evidence of that.
100%.
Is Dex in on this? I'm actually just starting to wonder. Dex just may just suck. Like, Dex may not actually have a direct involvement in it. He just may be an awful person. And so it's like, is he friend or foe? Because he may not really be a foe, but he's certainly not Anna's friend here either.
He's foe. I said this in the last episode. He is foe. I think he is in on it. I think everything that's going on with his mom and this lawsuit she's putting together against the father and all the weirdness that went on there, I feel like Dex knows about it or is involved in it in some sort of way. I think he knows a lot. And I think that's probably why his character does come across as closed off as he does, because I think he's protecting a lot of secrets.
And it's weird. This is the first episode I've actually started to feel like maybe he's not involved. Maybe he's just a jerk. Maybe it is just
He's
because
both. He is both.
Well, okay, this is the thing. Maybe it's because he's so jerky in this episode, basically just telling Anna, I do not believe you on anything, and just being continually awful, and then like having the audacity to be like, want to watch the Golden Globe? No, she doesn't want to watch the Golden Globes with you. You're a jerk. I'm so blinded by my disdain for him as a person that I'm having a harder time thinking about larger motivations. But no, I want to think that Sonia is a friend just because the reaction that Nicolette had to her was particularly interesting. And if we were to sit here and think that, okay, Nicolette is in on it, which I think we both are very much in that camp.
Foe.
Yeah, big time foe. That with that in mind, she's not going to be comfortable with someone who is not a foe all of a sudden being around these parts.
Yeah, that moment at the door with Anna and Sonia, when Sonia just kind of like gave her this kiss and gave her this hug and just really looked her in the eye and was just like, I'm actually here for you. If you need me, like, I'm 15 minutes away. You call me, I'm here. That I was just like, she doesn't need to do that. There's no reason for her to do that. And I wonder if it's because if she is Adeline and now she's back sort of as this pretend Sonia, and she's back in the house and she sees Dex and everything that's kind of going on, like her being in hiding, and she knows what the capability is of everything that could happen to Anna and happen to Anna's baby. I think at this point she's looking at Anna as an innocent, somebody who just had nothing to do with anything, just happened to be the next person that ended up marrying Dex. And because of, Sonia's choices, Adeline's choices, now, this woman is being affected by it, and she had no reason to be affected by it. I think she has a bit of guilt.
And it would make some element of sense then that the moment she's invited to this dinner, she would be like, yeah, sure, I want to come because I want to protect Anna or at least get a better sense of what is going on.
Yeah, at this dinner, Sonia put all of her attention on Anna. Like it was almost like Dex wasn't even there.
And she also showed up early.
Yep.
That's not something, they're showing up early, but then they're showing up really early to the point where like Dex is not even there yet. And then you can sort of make the point of, okay, she showed up knowing most likely where Dex would be because she
Mhm.
would get some alone time with Anna. I think the only thing that threw me off, and this is not so much anything that Sonya did, it's just this show has sort of coded things in my head now that when I hear somebody say, you must be going through so much, I think about Dr. Condescending Hill. I think about Dex. I think about all these other people who I either just don't trust or don't like, that when anybody says that now, I just don't trust them. And it's just
Yeah.
ingrained in my DNA.
Okay, Adeline. Here's my thing that I'm kind of wondering. So I'm going to put on my
All right.
tinfoil hat and we're
All
all
right.
going to get into some theories now.
Okay.
Does Dex know that Adeline is alive and that Adeline is Sonia, and that this is the way that they're able to continue to have not necessarily like a romantic relationship, but that Dex knows what Adeline was up against, that what she was giving up, that she was part of this like horrible magical group, and then because she fell in love with him and moved away from that, that she was in so much danger that he had to be like, okay, you know what? She's gone, dead, accident, whatever. You no longer around anymore, but that they still want to be near each other. So she was like, well, I have to have a disguise. So, I'll fix my hair another color, piercings, whatever, and move into that. That way we can't be together because then people will just know that it's me, but I can maybe work for you or work with you on something. And that way we can still kind of be around together, but we know we can't ever be together again or they'll kill me.
Is it possible that Dex is just a dum dum? Now I've gone from
No.
saying he's a jerk to now saying he's a dum dum. I think the idea here that how much he knows, I think you're probably right. I think he probably does know a good bit more, mostly just because of the fact that why hasn't it been directly brought up more by him of how close Sonya looks to Adeline? And like if she is just some random
Yeah.
woman in his life, that's why if I wanted to go down deep in this rabbit hole that Dex is just a jerk who just so happens to be involved with all these sort of people, it would be like, okay, well then he wouldn't know anything necessarily about Sonia, but Sonia looks so much about Adeline. And if he really thought that Adeline died and was not involved in anything like this, wouldn't he feel a little bit uncomfortable being around somebody all the time who looked that much like his late life? Like, I could feel like that would, at the very least, be a conversation starter.
Listen, if Adeline can look at that picture and be like, or Sonia can look at
Yeah.
Adeline picture and be like, yeah, that looks like me, then I feel like Dex would know that Sonia looks exactly like her as well. With how guarded he is and also how much he's denying everything that Anna's seeing. Oh,
Yeah.
you're just making it up, whatever. He said it in this episode tonight. That confirmed to me that he knows everything. He knows a lot. And because he's protecting whatever it is he's protecting, whether it's his dad or, the witches or Adeline or Sonia or whatever it is that he's protecting, he's being like this. Oh, I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on. How do they put all this ice cream in the actual refrigerator and none of it is melting? Why do you have goats in the shower with you? You're seeing people over here and your hair's falling out and dolls are showing up everywhere. Who knows what's going on? It could be anything.
The ice cream part of this really is the biggest mystery of the entire show, isn't it? I just one time I did put ice cream in what I thought was the freezer, and it was the refrigerator, and I pulled it out. It was just all soupy. I was so sad.
Correct.
It's like this isn't red velvet ice cream anymore.
No.
No, the real thing here is here's another crazy theory here about Dex is that this is a common TV trope of the I'm just trying to protect you. And it is what we can call in this situation dumb white knight syndrome, where Dex may think that Anna is safer by not knowing any of the information, and that while all this is happening, he's going around behind the scenes. We're not seeing it, trying to put a stop to all of this sort of stuff. But of course, the question there is, do I want to give even Dex that much credit that he's actually doing something? And it's just, his behavior doesn't make me feel that way. Where if you're trying to
No.
protect her, wouldn't you at least be nicer about it? Like, I'm not saying that he wants the worst thing in the world to happen to her, but he clearly is indifferent to her feelings. Like, he's not showing any signs of really caring about her. So either this is all a means to an end to him, or he's just a jerk, or it may be both.
I think he knows a lot of what is happening and that what she's telling him is true. But because he can't speak on it, because either he knows about Adeline, he knows everything that's going on, he knows she's in hiding, and he just can't say anything. That's why he's kind of trying to continue to play everything off as normal as possible. Oh, don't worry, you're not seeing goats in the shower or whatever. You're not seeing any of this. You know, I know why you're upset. You're upset because you can't go to the Golden Globes. Listen, you've been around this whole time and she's told you all the stuff that's been happening to her. The fact that he's saying that tells me that he's trying to keep things as normal as possible. Don't look over here at the witches. Look over here. What you're really upset about is Golden Globes.
Okay, so it's so I wouldn't
But
even.
that's what I think is happening. I don't think that he can't be this clueless.
It's hard. It's hard to really buy into that. And you know, we've not read the source material. Please don't spoil it.
We haven't.
But it's just a situation where, based on what we are seeing, we're getting a guy who's acting obviously in a very suspicious way, but for a number of different reasons. We have all these questions about Dex, but then with Siobhan, who is she? Like, that's the biggest, broadest question that I have here. Because if we're to assume that the Ashleys are in fact some of the witches that we have been seeing, does that mean Siobhan is head witch? Is she something else? Is she from some other sort of underworld? Like, what? I really need to know more about like her actual origins, because clearly, based on that conversation with Hamish, this has been planned out for a while, to the point where she orchestrated this movie, Anna being there, and basically her being in this position in the first place.
Yeah, and it seems like from the last episode, we've seen that women have been offered sort of riches or power or fame for these babies. This has been going on a really long time. It happened with the Queen, happened with Miss Preacher. Like, all of this is happening, and now it seemingly is happening here as well.
It's really funny because, you know, there's all these like Rosemary's Baby comparisons to this show. There's, of course, the source material here. Like, this feels very much like I'm going to go back in time here like 500 years. This is very much like a Dr. Faustus sort of situation, where are these people just basically, you know, selling their soul or for something, or in this case, you know, selling their baby soul. But then, of course, the question then becomes, what does the witches need with the baby? Like, what makes the baby so important? Because I do not want for a second this to be something where this baby is going to take over the world, where this baby has like that sort of like broad or sinister death. That is such a played out trope. I really hope that's not where they're going.
I'm still on the hill that this baby is a vessel to move a person into this new person to start again, sort of thing. I feel like that's kind of where they're going. So you can live forever, sort of thing. I mean, that doctor is living forever. He does not look like he aged a second from like in the 80s. I was just like, okay, so he's definitely, you know, drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, this guy is drinking the Kool-Aid, swimming in the Kool-Aid. Like, I think we should all feel like Dr. Hill was very much in on this. Like, anybody who is like that involved with the baby's care medically, I think we're able to make a pretty broad statement about this. Now, here's another mystery, and perhaps a theory. Where's Ivy? Like, they made this big deal moving into this season that
Yeah.
Cara Delevingne was going to be a major part of it. She's been on the posters alongside Kim Kardashian and Emma Roberts, almost like she's the number 3 person. She's barely been on this show. Did somebody figure out what she tried to do in the past and then offed her? And is Ivy just dead? I don't think that's the case because they set up this character in a really big way.
Yeah, they did. And she's been like on screen for like 5 minutes. Like she's barely been on this. So
Yeah.
I have to believe going into part 2, she will have a bigger role. She can't just be gone.
Okay, so if we're going to,
I can't feel that she would roll out of bed for a 5-minute role. Like she doesn't need to.
she doesn't need to. And this is like, in a lot of these videos this season, we have sort of played with this concept of teams where it's like, who's on the bad team, who's on the good team. And I think we can agree that Siobhan very much on the bad team.
Foe.
Yes, Dex, regardless of how much he knows or whatever, he's clearly on the bad team because he just sucks.
Foe.
So definitely a foe. We can say Nicolette, foe. Yeah, it's hard to see anything other than that. Now, Miss Preacher, she's bringing some interesting information to light, and in that sense, friend. Sonia, I think,
friend.
A fun game. Sonia, I think we both feel like has a lot of potential here to be a friend.
Yeah.
If Ivy then is also a friend, and I think that Ivy might be a friend.
I don't think so.
Okay, see.
Because if she actually went in and did what Anna said she did, she's a foe. She doesn't get to make that choice.
I think that's the part of it that's problematic. Is
foe.
That I think
no matter what her intentions are, foe.
I think that Ivy must have tried to think that she was doing something like or fighting against this. I think at the very least, Ivy knows what this baby potentially means. And I think that's probably where she falls a little bit in this sort of line between friend and foe. And that's why we need more of her, because she's not falling into place right now.
She's a foe because she should have just had the conversation. There's another way to go around this. You don't need to be straight evil and like take somebody's baby from you, or take, if it was twins, because there's that theory going on as well, that you take one of them. Like, that's not your choice. You're a foe. You'd be a friend if you were like, listen, let's go out for lunch. We're going to talk about it with whatever those delicious chocolate things
Oh my goodness.
And just be like, we're going to have a talk over this. And, you can believe me or not believe me, but, I'm a friend. But as of right now, from that one scene we saw her in, foe, get out.
She's doing some foe-ish things.
Yeah.
I need to know more about the why. And I think that's what makes her interesting, in the sense that I don't think she's on the same team as a lot of these other evildoers. But in general, like you bring up...
she's not Team Siobhan and Dex and all these guys that are fighting over the vessel, because that's what I think is going on.
The funniest thing about this season in general, though, is that you mentioned Ivy could have just had a conversation. Miss Preacher could have brought up some of this information before episode 5, given that she has been involved in all of this, like, from the very start. And it's like, okay, we're getting all this, and you're telling Dex's mom.
I'm like, why aren't you actually sitting and talking to Anna about this? How is this helpful? You're telling Dex's mom, who doesn't even seem to really like Anna all that much.
Can we put Mrs. Preach in a foe category just because she sucks at giving away the information to the right people?
Yeah.
No, I think the show is still confusing. And I think it's meant to be confusing in the sense that we don't know where any of the end games are. We don't know where the intentions lie for certain people, such as, is this vessel, like in your theory, meant to help out the Ashleys, who seem to be immortal on some measure if they've been around for so long.
And same with Siobhan, she keeps feeding Anna these vials of whatever nonsense. Like, is it getting the baby ready for Siobhan to be able to go into the baby as the vessel into the next world? Like, I don't know what is going on.
It's a fun thing to think about. And guess what? We're all going to have a really long time to just sit back, twiddle our thumbs, and think about it.
Hopefully not that long. Pay the actors. Let's get back to work.
Okay. Cross our fingers. Hope for the best. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Hit that subscribe button, and remember, American Horror Stories Season 3, Something Wicked This Way comes in 1 week's time, a little more than that. We'll be here talking all about it.
Yeah, there's an episode called Tapeworm, so really get your hard hats on for that.
Yeah, we're really, really excited, and we hope to see you here next time.